Okay, good morning and afternoon to everyone. Thanks for joining. This is the 23rd of July for SIG Windows, and this meeting's being recorded, so please make sure that you adhere to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct. So it looks like we've got a relatively short list right now on the agenda. So if anybody wanted to add more stuff, either add it directly or just drop a note in chat, and then I'll call on you in a bit once we get there. Okay, so I guess just another quick reminder. If anyone is in the Seattle area or is willing to travel, we still have that in-person meeting coming up this Friday. The link is in the notes from last week there. And any new feature caps need to be there for 1.16 before the end of the month. Trying to find the actual schedule here just for a second, double check that. So I think it was the 30th. Yeah, so enhancements freeze is on the 30th. But as of right now, I think the only one that we need to track for that is the doc that Deep started for CSI. Is that right, Deep?
Yeah, that is one of the features, and we have a meeting scheduled in the afternoon to kind of close on some of the comments. But other than that, it's in good shape.
Okay. So I guess with that, let's go over to test status. I know Adelina had a few had an issue that she was looking at with Yuju. So do you want to cover that?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Hmm?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so basically it's the issue that Yuji opened on Kubernetes regarding the Redis image, and I've opened it linked it in another issue in Windows testing. So basically, what's happening there is that they updated the image, used the Redis image to a new version 5.05. And the image we're using, so we're using a Windows port, but that's only for version 3.2. That's as far as the port goes. Now the problem with that particular test is that basically what the test does is just gets the logs from a pod and tries to find a particular string in there, which happily enough changed between versions. Now we're running into a bit of a problem here, specifically because Redis, the Windows port for Redis, is not is no longer supported on the one hand, and on the other hand, we don't have a version 5.05 that would basically have that new string inside there. Now, the idea is that a quick fix for this will obviously be just change the regex that's trying to match there to a subset that works for both versions. But obviously, this is just a quick fix for the test, not for the overall problem we have with the Redis image and the fact that we don't support it at greater version. So I thought that we might actually port that whole test to the new image host. So it uses that because basically there's no reason that test that just looks through the logs should use Redis, except that I suspect that they use it only because it just outputs a lot of logs continuously. So I'm guessing that's the reason they have it, that one and not something else. So the long-term solution will, in my opinion, be just to port that test to use host and implement something in there that's similar in the amount of logs it generates, and that will fit into the test. Now, of course, they're not. I mean, the first fix for the test, the one where we replace the string, that's easy to do, and it's quick to do. Not that the other one is more complicated. The other one, I'm expecting a little bit of more delay in terms of reviews and the normal process. So I thought that maybe we could just have the first fix in, and while it or until it goes in, just disable the tests from. So, for example, in our case, from staging and master, just because there's no reason to have red test cases, just because we have that known issue. So basically, have the regex fix until that goes in, disable the tests, and in the meantime have that more complete approach to the problem where we actually change the flow of the test to change the image. Now I don't expect this to be too much work or complicated anyway, or to hit any problems. So I'll start ASAP on this today or tomorrow early in the morning for us here. But again, if that works for everyone here.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Did you have any comments on that, Yuju, since you'd opened a related issue?
So I guess the long-term solution suggested was to port this test and use that for Windows with a different image. Is that the suggestion?
No, generally port the test for both Windows and Linux to use the different image, which is host. Because again, the whole test just gets the logs from a container and checks if a particular string is in there, if a particular text is in there. So there's no reason in using Redis for this test.
Yeah, it's never calling.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah, I think it should be easy to find a common image that would just output the string that we want and to verify them.
Yeah. Exactly. As I said, my only suspicion, the thing I suspect is that they're using Redis because it outputs a lot of logs. That's what they're trying to test. Because I'm guessing you can use any image that just outputs, the host name or something like that, but you're not testing much in terms of logs functionality.
I see. I didn't look at other tests, so I don't know what the Redis image is used for. But it doesn't sound like, it's hard to replace. We can publish image, or even just have our own test image to do the same thing. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And then you were also working on updating some of the jobs to use more nodes and more parallel tests on Azure. So working on some things up there.
Yeah, we added a little bit more nodes in the staging job, and more parallelism. We're experimenting to find exactly the point where it's starting to be unstable because of the parallel test nodes. Basically, we're trying to shave off as much as possible from the test time. But again, in the AKS engine CI, the testing itself, so for example, how it's now in staging, the testing itself takes like 50 minutes on average. The provisioning and building of the binaries is the hypercube and everything. That's what takes most of the time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other note I had on here is I put links to the current work on Containerd. I'm still trying to get a better timeline on that from the people that are working on the Windows Containerd port. Right now, I still don't have like we're at the point where we've identified some issues, but people aren't actively working on the issues we've identified yet in terms of fixing them. And so I'm still thinking that it's going to be likely, a few weeks to possibly a few months before we get active engagement on that. So Adeline is continuing to work on getting some of those issues identified, but at this point, I think it might be it's more likely something for 1.17 rather than 1.16 in terms of getting it actually stable. But I think it looks like we're on track to get the tests up for 16 with some known failures. Is that sort of in line with what you were looking at from a test status standpoint?
Yeah, so basically, the whole idea, so a couple of weeks ago, as you know, we still had trouble actually running the tests in container because the nodes would flip-flop between ready and not ready. We identified an issue there. And now we started the tests with a fix, let's say, more of a hack that can evolve, of course, into a fix for those issues. Now the nodes are stable, and I started the test only in this LG bridge scenario. I've started the tests, and the hopes here are to just have them consistently running so we know which are the failures and start, investigating the test and at least having them prepared for whenever Containerd is actually landing. And of course, finding any issues that might appear. So that's the goal. Just investigating what we have to see if there are issues, how we figure them out, maybe even if they're reasonable enough to fix in Containerd and not, let's say it's a platform issue or whatever. Go as much as possible on that direction, but basically on what the tests give us.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep moving forward on that. I just pinged some people on the open issue again to see if I can get some more eyes on that. Did anybody else have new topics? I see there was something from Gene here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have a review for GMSA beta that's been there for a while. So if anyone wants to take some time reviewing it, that would be great. It's just about cleaning up the registry keys that we create for GMSA containers, and making sure we eventually delete them even if the container never starts or is never removed. So yeah, if people have time to look at it, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Looks like this replaces a previous PR.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay. I'll put this on the list to take a look at it. That's 803.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know I'd looked at the previous one before, but I can't remember what the reason was that it didn't get merged for 15. And then it looks like Yuju just added or someone just assigned it to Yuju as well. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, we'll look at that. And then let me project board real quick. Looks like there's a few others that are up for review as well. Okay. Did anybody have other things to discuss today?
Did you get a chance to look at the KubeADM PR?
No, I'll work on that. I should be able to look at that this afternoon.
Okay, and do I need to update the KEP for 116 just to say it'll be an alpha for 116?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, and that deadline is end of month, right?
Yeah, it's the 30th.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but that should be a real quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back at the place where I've got I'm working from home today, so I have my KubeADM lab here. So
Yeah.
I'll get it on that.
I just want the reviews first because every time I run those scripts, it's a little cumbersome. So
Yeah. Okay. I'll actually add that to the notes. And is that on the Windows Tools repo or is that on the main Kubernetes repo?
yeah, it's SIG Windows Tools. It's the first PR, like PR number 1.
Okay. Okay, excellent. I guess if that's, does anybody else have other issues? If not, do we want to get 10 minutes back? Do some reviews? Okay, well, nothing heard. All right, well, thanks everyone, and hope you have a great week and some good weather. It's finally cooled down here, so I get to enjoy some more time outside. All right, well, see everyone next week then.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.